The vibrational reality that we speak of, you could even call it source energy consciousness. It exists long before this batch of humans were contributing to it. In other words, it is a focused energy and powerful point of attraction, really beyond description because of the depth and breadth of it. And it is always moving forward. It is always where it now is. The difference, the biggest difference that we really want you to acknowledge between your human perspective and that non-physical perspective is that non-physical perspective does not look back. It doesn't look back. And so that energy that once was Jesus has evolved and become and morphed and is so much beyond what that once was. And so, since there's no looking back, to some degree, the sophistication of the zeros and ones that your computer systems are, it's incomprehensible to most how any of that even happens. And when you start contemplating what consciousness is as a result of what it has been, the layers and the capacity of the law of attraction to reach into the vastness of the vibrational universe and match beyond any computer's ability to trace and follow, and bring right into the present moment for the participants that are active, and match it right up to the precise degree. It is so close to incomprehensible, and yet a vibrational reality that is happening all of the time. What happens is humans, because you're always looking back, it seems, and you feel like you need to justify or understand or validate your now by understanding all of that. And so as you're looking back from your perspective that really has moved forward, so much far forward, there is always tremendous distortion in your explanation of what that was. It's like a natural updating of everything that ever was before to make it fit with what now is. Because if you're not up to speed with what now is, and we don't just mean what now is on planet Earth, we mean what now is in this vibrational reality that is the inner being source, expansive being that is you. If you're not up to speed with that, then everything that you're contemplating is distorted. And that's really the point that we are wanting to make with you when we encourage you not to try so hard to make what was fit in with what is, because while it is always fitting in, everything that vibrationally is a result of everything that was, but it's so much more than what was that the contemplation of it is what causes you to argue for your limitations and inhibits yourself of not being all that you are. And your quest, you're born with it, you're wired for it, it's what you are reaching for always, is to be this vibrational match to who you really are, to see through the eyes of Source, to be in your body, on this planet, interacting with others, and be the wholeness of who you are, the wholeness of who you are. That's what you came for, and in varying degrees, that's what you are doing. And we don't want you to feel any shortage. We are not implying that you're not doing as you should do, or that there's something missing, or that you should try harder. That's not the point here. You can't get it wrong. You were born into an environment that produces within you automatic expansion. And so many are not keeping up even close to their expansion, that is what the discord on the planet is really all about. You've become so much more as collective consciousness and as individuals than you are letting yourself be, and it's driving you crazy. And you're pointing at everyone to try to explain, I don't feel good, and it's your fault, and it's your fault, and it's your fault, and it's your fault. And until any one of you decides that, the law of attraction is the maker of the matches, and my work is simple. I just have to reach for feelings that cause me to match with what I've become. rather than what I've been or even what I currently am. That's why we say there is nothing that you cannot be or do or have. If this time-space reality has the wherewithal to inspire within you a desire, big or small, of any nature, this time-space reality is already queued up to deliver the goods, to give you the fullness of the manifestation that you want. No exception. We were talking about how law of attraction is gathering up cooperative components. Do you know everything's about that? Do you know chemistry is about that? Everything in physics and chemistry and biology, it's all about vibrational matching. Everything is. Everything. The law of attraction is the basis of it. It's what Einstein was looking for as he was trying to find. He died still reaching for it, and now is delighted that you all have found. It's involved in everything. So, law of attraction and momentum and trending and escalation, that's all the same thing. And so, if you are focused upon something, the law of attraction is insisting that it escalate. Whatever you're focused upon. In other words, you don't have to work at it. It is escalating. And if you don't take your eyes from it and look somewhere else, it continues to escalate. That's why when people get together in groups and they talk about similar things, those things escalate and escalate and escalate and escalate. So it seems like that would be troubling if things that are not wanted are escalating. But really, it's not a big trouble for a long time, because as this is escalating, as what is not wanted is escalating, what is wanted is escalating at the same time. It's just that the escalators of what is not wanted don't have access, but the rest of the world does. Anyone that's not in that vibrational match and is not keeping themselves apart, that's why there is so much benefit to what anybody is doing. But let's say that you've decided that you do want to feel good, that you do want to be a deliberate creation, that you do want to reap the benefits right now in your physical human time and space of what you've launched into the vibrational reality. And so, whether you're consciously aware of that or not, here's how it goes. This gets bigger and so does this. This gets bigger and so does this. This gets bigger and so does this. All the time this is getting bigger, your inner being's focused upon it. More and more powerful, more and more cooperative components being gathered. So the expanse between who you have become and who you're letting yourself be becomes greater and greater and greater and greater and greater and greater. And remember when we said that when you really, really want something, it almost doesn't matter what you believe. So as this gets greater and greater, the calling of you becomes greater and greater and greater. And it is really a rare thing for someone not to eventually be called to it. Now, they usually can't sustain it. That's what those peaks and valleys that so many people are talking about. That's what they're talking about. It is not possible for anyone to escalate what they don't want without creating what they do want. And this also is not possible. It also is not possible for them to avoid the occasional connection with what they do want. They just can't sustain it because they don't know how it happened. If there's no rudder or no direction, if there's no focus. And so that's where all of you come in. You're not trying to teach them anything. They taught themselves. They've created what they want. What you do, you live as the clear example of someone who's tuned to that. And those who are ready, and they're ready at varying degrees, they begin to recognize it. It doesn't make sense. This is a question that you've been asking for a long time. Talking about all of you. Abraham. We're going to see if we can find your snarky tone. Abraham. So Abraham, if we were pure positive energy before we came into this physical body, and life is causing us to expand, then why isn't that more powerful? And why doesn't Source just fix what's wrong? Why do we have to experience so much of what we don't want? And we say because, there are so many reasons. Law of attraction. That's the reason. Law of attraction is the reason. There's no assertion. And there's no exclusion. There's just attraction. And so, isn't it nice that there is this consistent thing going on, that when you, sometimes through trial and error, discover a thought that feels like that, and then you're able to connect the dots as you sustain that thought. You can't teach deliberate creation through words. It's odd that we offer so many. It's only through life experience that anybody gets anything. That's why people believe what they believe. They offered the vibration, they believed it, they talked about it, they described it, and they lived it, and then they're sure. It's like the tombstone. The guy gets sick and dies, and on his tombstone is written, I told you I was sick. Your expectation is everything. Expectation is the best way of describing where your usual point of attraction is. So people are moving around the planet, interacting with all of you, and they've got expectations, and the law of attraction and the universe is delivering to them exactly what they expect. So of course they believe it. Of course their assumptions come true. That's just the way that it is. So you don't want to start arguing over what's right or wrong, or what they should get or what they shouldn't get, or even how to get what they want. You just want to know how it works and manage your own point of attraction, because now you know how to, and match up with more of what feels good to you to demonstrate the harmony of knowing how this all works. And as more and more are doing that, then more and more will do that. And as more and more are doing that deliberately, more and more will have the satisfaction of doing that. We want to just make this one final culmination of what we've been talking about here. When you put it together that how you feel is about what you've been thinking, and what you've been thinking is about what you've been thinking, and what you've been thinking is about what you've been thinking, and what you've been thinking is about what you've been thinking. When you start putting it together that it's been your perception that was the genesis of what your point of attraction is now, and you connect those dots, then you've got it. And then a wonderful thing can happen for so many, where they deliberately reach for an existing match of something that feels good. And stay focused there just for 17 seconds. And then the law of attraction brings something more and brings something more, so the trending and the momentum happens. And they realize that it isn't easy to stay focused on what feels good, because it's not their tendency. But they've decided they want to, but it's not their tendency. So they try to do it. It's sort of like trying to quiet your mind to meditate, and then your mind keeps wandering. So you're practicing focus for the purpose of feeling. You're practicing finding the feeling. You're practicing finding the feeling, because you can't practice finding the vibration because you don't have a vibrational meter that you can look at. You're practicing finding the feeling. And as you practice finding the feeling, at first it's really hard, and then it's not quite so hard, and then it's easier, and then it's really quite easy. And you practice finding the feeling. Now you practice finding the feeling about something that you're really interested in. And then the universe delivers to you something that matches. And now it's not words that are trying to teach, because they don't. It's life that shows you. Now you can connect those dots. Now you've got it. Now your belief can shift. A belief is just a thought that you continue to think, and you keep thinking that thought, you keep holding that belief becomes an expectation, and you just can hardly be jolted from an expectation. What you expect is what you get. The universe just treats you exactly like you expect it to. Oh, you get into an attitude of victimhood? Watch out. Everybody's mean to you. People who have never been mean to anybody are mean to you when you get into that victim mode. And so once you get it, that you've got control of your point of attraction, and that's enough for you. That's really what we're wanting to convey here. If it can be enough to you, if it can be enough for you to be in control of your own point of attraction, you can change the world.